Started out slow, but I finally made them out of the cars. Chances I'm taking, run with my dogs. No, we ain't faking, travel the world, cutting the faces, jump in my car, roll up and face it. No, I don't call, I'm on her faces.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of the Empire 161 Show, Season 4, Episode 13. We'll open up with High Today by Wiz Khalifa and Logic. That is Jake Bauer's walk-up music, for those who may not know. Welcome this Sunday evening. If you're joining us on Facebook live stream or YouTube or Twitter, X, Instagram, or wherever you found your audio on the podcast, we always appreciate the support. I'm Ed, and with me as always is Lisa. Lisa, what's up?
Hey, everybody. So we've got a lot to cover because there was way too much stuff going on this week in the world of the Yankees. So we're just going to start it off by, I'm going to tell you that I, for the first time in a long time, went to back-to-back games this week. And it was my first time sitting behind home plate on the 100 level. I don't think I've ever had a better view of Giancarlo Stanton. And it was all courtesy of my special someone. So I'm not going to say too much about Giancarlo. But I felt like a little kid during Christmas because I couldn't stop smiling the whole night getting to see the game from that view. Like, I could literally see the balls and strikes coming in. Like, it was just so cool. It was so cool to see inside the Yankees dugout and what they were doing and, seeing guys get ready. It was just so much fun. And then the second night that I went in a row was best friends night. And I went with my best friend, Joe. So shout out to him. He sometimes comes on and comments on our podcast. So that night, Ed's heard me talk about this already. I had, I think, my new Yankee Stadium favorite concession. And it was the Maduro burrito from the Bronx burrito kiosk in section 314. First of all, the two women that worked on the kiosk were like the nicest people in the world. There was zero line, and that burrito was so amazingly delicious. I loved it so much. I'm gonna have to get another one before the season is over. So I absolutely love that. But we have some things to talk about. We have the Rays and the Tiger series. We're going to talk about Domingo and everything that happened with him. We're going to talk about Anthony Rizzo. We're going to talk about Carlos Rodon and what happened to him today. I'm excited to announce that Nasty Nestor Cortez is back. I'm very excited about that. I've missed him. And before we kick things off, Ed, I have a fun fact.
Go. Shoot.
Did you know that Brandon Lau and Josh Lowe are not related, but Josh Lowe does have a brother on another team?
I am aware of this because I'm pretty sure I heard it during a broadcast at some point. Because I know they were on the Rays at one point together, and I didn't even know their names were pronounced differently.
Yeah, so they're both on the Rays now.
Well, no, I think
Nathaniel.
Nathaniel, yes. So that's where I'm thinking of the picture that I know that you had sent to me. Yeah, Nathaniel was there at one point with Brandon, and I didn't even realize, obviously that's spelled the same, so I assumed that they were pronounced the same, but not the case.
Yes. Well, I sent you a picture the other day that was on X and had me hysterically laughing because if anybody hasn't seen it, it's a picture of all three of them during a game where the Rangers were playing what team are they on? The Rays.
It had to be the Rays and the Rangers.
Yeah, the Rays and the Rangers. And it's a picture of all three of them with Low, and how it's pronounced Lau, but it just looks like Low. So somebody tweeted and said, she hit the flow. Next thing you know, Shorty got...
Low.
I thought that was such a funny posting. So, and then the last thing I'm going to bring up that you can kick off is you went to Harry Potter night today at the stadium.
Yes. We went to me and my wife Angie went to Harry Potter Day. Um, it was fun. It was a cool little experience there. Like this is the second Harry Potter day the Yankees have done. Last year they gave out beach towels, which we had got. Pretty solid things. Free beach towels. You can never really have
Always
enough.
good.
They always come in handy. But today they switched it up with Harry Potter caps, and there were Yankee caps, and it was pretty much all four houses, and it was totally at random. And yeah, we got in there and curious to see what was what. My wife is like a huge Gryffindor fan, and didn't really matter which one I had got, honestly. I think it was the Ravenclaws, the blue one, right? Okay. That's the one I thought looked cool. Like if I had to pick
because it was blue.
Yeah, I mean probably. I mean, like again, all parties aside from whatever the houses actually are, I thought that one was pretty cool. But I got Gryffindor, and I was waiting to see if the people who were giving out the hats were going to wear sorting hats because I thought that would have been a pretty funny touch.
That would have been.
No, they weren't. They were just giving out the hats, and then Angie was being handed Slytherin, and I called it because I knew that was going to happen. I told her weeks in advance this was going to happen, and then she asked the guy before he handed it to her, "Can I please have Gryffindor?" And you can tell he rolled his eyes and was just like, "Whatever, man." And then he goes and gets a Gryffindor, which I'm sure there was. She wasn't
probably
the first
like person. The 900th person to ask him that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm sure he was like. All right. The guy was pretty cool, though. Glad he did it. She's wearing her Gryffindor shirt, so she was excited for it. There were tons of people with Harry Potter stuff and Yankees stuff with it. So, yeah, I don't know. It was a pretty cool event there. So I'm assuming they'll keep on. I think they have some sort of a partnership with the musical on Broadway. Like it seems like that's the tie-in. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, and they have the exhibition here now and stuff. So it's like seems like a cool partnership. But
so they don't lean into it like Star Wars, though, right? Like they don't have the players dressed like different members of the different houses.
No. So they did the graphics.
They did.
No, they did. They did lean into it. The graphics were there.
I would have loved
the Yankees
to see that.
The Yankees were Gryffindor, and then the Astros were Slytherin.
Oh, they're major Slytherin vibes.
Yeah, of course. And they, what else? Yeah, all the games and stuff were Harry Potter themed, like Val Out and stuff, and like the Word Scramble and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool. I still feel like the night they get the most into is Star Wars night. Like they had Star Wars night. Yeah, that's the one where I feel like it's a little extra. Like they have their own crawl. They make the Star Wars crawl and it's like rehashing like the series that they're in, and the music is constantly Star Wars themed and stuff. But for Marvel superhero night and for Harry Potter night, not as much. Like they do the graphics and stuff like that. That's fine. Like it's not wrong, but Star Wars night you can tell it's a bit extra.
Yeah, they even have a parade on Star Wars night.
Yes, and that's kind of I'm surprised they didn't have anything like for the other two because it's big fan bases as well. So.
Yeah,
well,
that's cute. I have to go to a Harry Potter night one of these years.
Yeah, so I do have 2 Gryffindor hats. So Lisa, I will bring one for you on Friday when we go to the concert, the Hip Hop 50 concert at Yankee Stadium. So you can rock that.
Yay! Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Well, before we really kick into a couple other things, let's just remind everyone. You can, during the broadcast, you can send us some stars, which is a digital gift that helps us earn money. So you can come hang out, join Pop Culture Pros, support popculturepros.com. That's what we are presented by, popculturepros.com. So, all right. Lisa, what do you want to do? Should we do our game recap, or do we want to just get into the meat and potatoes of this episode?
Oh my gosh.
What do you think?
Let's get the meat and potatoes out of the way.
Okay, let's do that then, because it's going to be kind of difficult to not scroll into it. All right. Well, let's start it off with the MLB trade deadline. So that passed on Tuesday at 6:00. Yankees made one trade. Well, sorry, 2 minor trades. Right? Kenyon Middleton, middle reliever from the White Sox, they traded for pretty much for a bag of balls, and then they also acquired a minor leaguer, and that was pretty much it. I can't say that I'm totally shocked by this at all, and it's not. This isn't a fire, which there has been a lot of fire cashman chants at the stadium lately. Latest one I heard was on Friday night. I didn't hear anything today because Sunday afternoon, Harry Potter Day, more kids in the stands. So I'm assuming that's probably why it didn't happen. But that has been a regular chant now. I would say that I'm not totally surprised by really no movement because on one hand, the team is handful of games above 500 at the time. And are they really going to invest in their future by trading, their top prospects for not much? Because there really wasn't that much out there unless you're going to make – there wasn't one player that was going to move the needle, in my opinion at least. There really wasn't. This team has a lot of problems. Yeah. All over the place, and usually at the trade deadline, if the team is playing well and they need reinforcements, trades will be made to push them over the top. If you make a couple of minor moves, is it really worth it? I think was the question that I was wondering. And the big guy we talked about was Cody Bellinger, of the Cubs, and the Cubs got in it. They reeled off 8-9 wins in a row. So they're like, screw it. Why are we trading him? We need him. We're going to make our run at it, which you could totally understand. So I'm not going to bang on Cashman for that because he wasn't available. After that, there really wasn't anything out there. I mean, there was nothing major that they were going to get at all. So, I don't know. Lisa, what were your thoughts on this? I mean, were you disappointed? Was this what you expected? I don't know. It's all over the place.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised. I feel like there's a big difference when George Steinbrenner was alive. Like a bigger presence felt. Hal kind of said it earlier in the year. Like he was like, "We're good," like it's fine, everything's good. It's okay. Aaron Judge will be back soon and blah, blah, blah. And I think he still, thinks we have an opportunity to be more than a wild card. I don't know. That's crazy to me. I think the wild card is getting to be more and more of a stretch. But I don't know. I that's part of George Steinbrenner that I miss. I miss the let's make things happen. Win at all by all means necessary. Mm-hmm. I miss a little bit of that. I think Hal can lean a little bit more towards that direction sometimes. But I feel like a few teams kind of gave up and threw in the white towel. I mean, the other
Well, I think the question more is, though, do you feel not making any moves was a sign of them kind of throwing in the towel, or do you think it was kind of like a big picture, like, hey, because the way I kind of took it was, if at the time, which we'll get to talking about Rizzo in a second, but if Stanton, DJ, and Rizzo don't start getting going, right, and Judge isn't Aaron Judge, like he'll take a couple of weeks to get into it because he had no rehab games before he came back. They're not going anywhere anyway. So if none of that happens, no trade is going to save them, unless you were going to get like a Juan Soto. But the Padres also said, screw it, we're in. We're not trading him because there was talk about maybe them fire selling, and that didn't happen. So I don't know. I just kind of see this was like, hey, whatever happens, happens. We're not going to mortgage the future on maybe make the wild card, and we'll see what happens. I don't know. That's the way I took it. It was nothing to get truly excited about. Obviously, yeah. I'm not expecting us to do cartwheels, but
I mean, I think I'm more curious about what they're going to do after the season's over. I think that they have to make moves when the season's done. You made a good point at our game the other day. You said, I don't want somebody for like 3 months and then they don't come back. So I don't want that either. I want somebody who's going to stay and contribute to the team. And I also don't want to lose anybody on the team that's doing well. Like I know Glaber was somebody that could have been considered, and Glaber has been the guy for us lately. Spoiler alert, like he's definitely my player, my hitter. So, I don't know. I'm okay. I'm okay that they didn't do anything because I agree with you. I feel like we needed more than one person. Like we really needed Shohei Ohtani because he can cover two spots on the roster that we really need help with. And if we can't get him, then like I'm good. I'm fine with not making moves right now, but I need to see some movement made in the offseason for sure.
Yeah, and also you could add the Angels to that list. They're right there with the Yankees as far as making the AL wildcard spots. Yep. So they also said we're not trading him either. They made moves to go all in because with the Angels, they're like the big thing is the only reason where this talk of Ohtani even leaving is because he wants to win. So their ownership is trying to show, hey, listen, we're trying to win here, which I don't know why you guys waited so long for this, but you wouldn't have this problem. So I think they're hoping, hey, maybe we squeak in the playoffs, we go ahead, we get him as a wild card, maybe we make some noise, and he considers coming back. Because Artie Moreno has a boatload of money too. So it's not like they can't afford him. But the idea was he was going to leave because they weren't giving him a chance to win. So I think it's also on the table now that he might stay there. He might also not want to go east, which takes the Yankees and Mets, whoever's watching, out of that conversation completely. So the Ohtani thing is a whole nother story. Like that's it. Soto may or may not be more realistic, maybe even in the offseason. Who knows? But I agree with you. The Yankees got a lot of things to address specifically in the offseason. There's a lot of contracts that are expiring. There's money coming off the books, and Cashman is going to have to earn it. And for those who are on the fire Cashman, fantasy, bandwagon, that's not going to happen. I'm sorry, unless he chooses to step down after 1 year of his contract extension. It's not happening. No, it's not. I think, and Boone's not getting fired either.
I don't think so.
I'm sorry. That's his guy. For whatever you think of him, that's his guy. And I think before you have that part, you need to decide. Do you think Boone is a puppet or not? If he's Cashman's puppet, then you can't really get mad at Boone for some of his decisions because if you already decided he's a puppet, they're not his moves. He's just a guy who has to go face the music night in and night out and babysit the players, essentially, if you believe that's what it is. I'm not saying that's what camp I'm in, but I think you have to start your thought process with that. So it depends on what you think. Cashman ain't going anywhere. Boone ain't going anywhere. You got to hope that this shift in philosophy, which I think we talked about a little bit last time, where you brought in Omar Minaya and Sabian before the season to help out with scouting. And then you have Sean Casey getting hired as the hitting coach, firing the analytics-driven hitting coach. And now you bring in Andy Pettitte as a special advisor to Aaron Boone. So those moves are telling me that maybe they're like, hey, we need to get back to some more baseball guys in here versus just relying on a spreadsheet. Because if you're relying on a spreadsheet, Lisa, me and you can be the manager and the bench coach of the New York Yankees then. Because if someone's just going to if Cashman's going to pass on a spreadsheet and just say, hey, high five the guys, never throw them under the bus. Here's your script to read after the game. Good luck with that part of it. And you're gonna have fans wanting to shoot themselves while they listen to your press conferences because they can be rough. It's just anyone can do it. Then there's no talent, and I don't doubt like Aaron Boone knows baseball. The guy grew up in the game. He played the game.
Got like 1 million family members that were in it.
Listen, in all honesty, he's forgotten more baseball than me or you or most fans will ever know anyway. So
let me ask you a quick question. Is he the younger George Bush? Is that like how he's showing up? Like all his family was involved in politics?
I hope, man. I would feel bad for Boone if he's that guy. That's an interesting comparison. That's a tough one. I hope not. I really hope not. I just My opinion of it, honestly, is I don't think Boone is 100% a puppet. I think he has something to do with the line. I think he may fill up the lineup card. He gets the suggested lineup, and if he deviates from that, he has a lot of explaining to do to the front office. And I think that's where Cashman and stuff, they need to get away from that and say, hey, listen, maybe we need to start just letting him do his thing and then let the chips fall where they may. If he does a good job, great. If he doesn't, then we fire him and then we get someone else.
So
then you can see it.
Let me ask you a quick question. What are your thoughts on recently? Almost every game, there's been a new leadoff batter.
That's analytics. That's what it is. That's what the numbers are telling them. I mean, that's the problem is that they're too married to it. Like
you can tell because the lineup looks very like you almost can't call. Like you can call certain spots in the lineup. Obviously, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, if they're playing, like you know where they're going.
Mm-hmm.
But leadoff is always a mystery. It could be Jake Bauers one day. It could be Glaber one day. It could be Anthony Volpe one day. It could be IKF one day.
Yeah. Well, we know the lineups these days, they're going to change 1,000 times over. I don't agree with it unless you're going lefty righty maybe or something like that. But I think that it's too much. It's too much bouncing around. You're right. Judge is locked in at number 2.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. You're right. Stanton's probably going to be 3 or 4 or 5. Okay. Bauers, not your prototypical leadoff hitter. And especially this season when athleticism and speed are back in the game. Bauers, for me, he would be 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Because he's shown power. It's not like he hasn't. And we'll talk about him plenty. But he's more of a power hitter. And I think Volpe projects as their leadoff hitter. But I'm also okay with keeping him at the bottom of the order for now. Let him figure it out. Yeah. I think when he got hot, it looked like they were desperate. They threw him in the leadoff spot. And maybe it kind of messed with his growth this season, and now being lower in the order, it gives him time to figure it out. How would you leave him down there for the time being?
I like Glaber at leadoff for now.
But he's another one. Is he stealing? My leadoff hitter would be line drive hitter, which Glaber can do, but someone who's going to run, who's going to steal bases more.
Well, you know what then? I mean, we're going to talk about him, and maybe we can move to him now, but Anthony Rizzo then, but
he's not running base. He's not stealing bases either, though.
But he's also just not doing well in general right now.
Well, yeah, all right. Well, we'll shift over. So basically, we're in agreement for the trade deadline. Not super thrilled about it. Kind of understand it. It's to be continued in the offseason.
It was this emoji.
Yeah. If you were expecting them to, if you're disappointed because they didn't get Ohtani and Juan Soto, or either or, then I don't know what team you're watching.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't know either. I mean, that team seems really cool, and I would like to watch them. But that's
next
not
year.
that situation.
Next year.
Yeah. Hey, next year would be great. Hey, let's go. Sign Ohtani, trade for Soto. Let's go. We will do special edition winter shows for that. So, all right. Well, that takes us to there's a couple of situations involving specific players this week. Couple. Anthony Rizzo was headed to the IL later in the week, and it was Thursday. And Thursday it was announced after further testing that he has post-concussion syndrome. And he's been dealing with some stuff, and apparently he reportedly has been telling the Yankees that he's been feeling groggy at times and playing through it because Rizzo is that guy who's a throwback type of dude who's going to just keep trying to play through it and figure it out. But when he was being honest, reportedly he was telling them this. And then it was found out that he has some stuff. And this was ever since the collision with Fernando Tatis, Memorial Day weekend. It is August.
2 and a quarter, 2 and a week months. 2 months and a week. I have so many problems with this.
Go.
All right, so I've spoken about this before. I'm a social worker by trade. I've said before, I hope that all major sports have some kind of therapist on their payroll, and I'm sure that they do. but they don't talk about it enough. Because when you watch the video of after his collision with Fernando Tatis and the way he immediately collapsed onto one knee afterwards and was like stumbling around in the first base area, that alone should have told you. I understand that they did tests. I understand that the test came out negative. But ever since that day, that man has not been the same. And if, to your point, he has been telling the team something is wrong, I feel groggy, they should have done tests at minimum once a week, every week since then to catch this. And even if the tests don't show that he had a concussion, clearly something has been wrong with him since that happened. If I were him, I would be so disappointed in my team not listening, not hearing me, and not going the extra mile to find out what's wrong with me since that happened. For him to say, I would argue with umpires because I thought the ball was here, and when I looked on tape, it was here, and I was way off from it. Major problem. I feel so much concern for him and so much concern for the lack of concern that the Yankees had up for him in this situation, at least how it's being presented. Maybe there's more to it that we don't know, and I'll say that. So allegedly the lack of concern, but like if I were somebody on that team, I would be, and especially him, I would have been raising all kinds of hell to be like, something's way off with me, and you all have to figure this out. Like you're one of the richest teams with payroll. Like, get me a doctor to see what happened. Scans, do different tests, because something has been off since May 31st.
Yeah, everyone tracked it back to that. We've talked about it at times too, that you can clearly see in his, and we're talking about his performance, right? Mm-hmm. His on-field performance, because that's all we can really say. Yeah. Is he was never the same since then. Doesn't matter when he came back, he was never the same. He literally has been one of the worst everyday players in all of Major League Baseball. That's not
so opposite of how he's always been.
Yeah, listen, I'm not saying that Anthony Rizzo is Freddie Freeman at all. We're not saying that, but Rizzo's a damn good ball player. He's not that, and I know he's 32, 33 years old. He doesn't fall off a cliff that hard at that age. It doesn't happen like that. I'm sorry.
Especially not playing first base. Like,
but either way though, even at the plate, like it's not a thing. And you can clearly see like some of these at bats were just embarrassing to watch. Like 1, 2, 3, done. Like he had no idea what was going on. And I do think there is a level of, again, Rizzo being like the old school type of player who's like, hey, whatever, I'll battle through this. I'm gonna figure it out. I'll do it on my own or whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, then there's also, I do agree with you, going to the Yankees, and if as soon as he starts talking about anything like that, you need to take that seriously and either shut him back down and figure it out, or something. Like in the NFL, they take your helmet away, right? You're done. Like, well, they also had a massive, CTE lawsuit, so they don't play games at all. But the other sports should take that pretty seriously as well, because even though baseball's not a contact sport,
contact can happen.
It does happen, and you can clearly see something was going on here. So, with the team, with the Yankees doing this, doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, because they're so overcautious with a lot of things, right? Like anything, like, whatever, not to jump the gun, but like Rodon apparently had left hamstring tightness. He claims he wanted to stay in and finish it, which I'm not pulling the wire. I wasn't on the mound, but like he claimed he wanted to go in, and they took him out for precautionary reasons. We know.
Maybe they took him out because he was blowing the game.
That could have been either. But like, hey, buddy, listen, let's get that MRI and
seriously
get that fixed. Well, we also see like with Stanton, dude gets a hamstring pull, he's out for like 3 months. Like,
Well, that
4
play
months.
at the plate yesterday where he was barely running. They said that I heard today while I was listening to the game, he said that he felt something and that's why he wasn't running hard. Turns out allegedly he's fine. We'll see in like a couple of days if that's true or not. But like it's okay if he barely runs. Like, come on. Everybody knows I love him. Everybody knows that I love him. But everybody also knows the man he's gotten to be the slowest runner on the friggin' team because he just doesn't run anymore.
If that's his top speed of what we've been seeing lately.
He dropped into the what did they say? Into the 70th percentile.
It's bad.
70. I think I might be able to run faster than him. And he's like a foot taller than me. He's got like one stride of his legs should be like 3 strides of mine. And I think I might be able to beat him on the field. By the way, John Paul saying I would love to try that.
It just doesn't make any sense with the whole Rizzo thing. Like, it really doesn't. They put their players in bubble wrap most of the time, and it's insane. And then somehow this is the thing that you're negligent on.
And I'm really surprised too because like he's one of their like he's become a fan. I think he's become a fan favorite, and like he's a beloved player on the team, and everybody knows. To your point, he's old school. He goes hard. Everybody loves the way he plays first base. They love that he's willing to get hit by a pitch like on any given day and get a walk. He's a smart player at the plate. So I just don't see why they didn't focus on this a little bit more, a lot sooner. This poor guy has been playing for over 2 months with something wrong. It could have exacerbated whatever's wrong.
Yeah.
And I hope it didn't. I really, really hope it didn't because head injuries, you don't know how it's going to show up later in life. I'm very concerned about like Anthony Rizzo future.
Yeah, I mean, you hope obviously this is the only time he goes through this, and hopefully there's no further issues and they catch it. And my gut feeling tells me we're not going to see him for a little bit.
Yeah. And we shouldn't.
Whatever, until he's ready, like whenever it is. But I agree, like considering what just happened, you guys really need to make sure you're good to go, and that's it. And if they fall out of the race, then what's the point? And even further, then that's it. Shut them down, let them get the off season. That's it. And if they fall out of the race, don't be shocked if they shut Judge down then too. Who is doing his best to. But he was more clear. He's been said that, his ligament from multiple doctors have told him that he can't damage it any further. Like it's already kind of like done what it can do. It's just a pain management thing. Totally different from
playing in pain. Right.
Yeah, and we know that, and he knows that. He gets the deal as long as he doesn't go and jam his foot into another thing of concrete or something like that. Then that's that. Well, another situation the Yankees had this week before, and we're still not even at the recap yet. But kind of ties into our first game of the recap. But Domingo Germán checked himself into rehab on Wednesday, and kind of just completely out of nowhere, at least to the public, right? We were just, what the hell? We know Domingo Germán has had a bit of a checkered past with his domestic violence situation a couple of years ago. Yankees gave him a second chance. And then we get this. And the reports that have came out is that Tuesday he came into the clubhouse clearly under the influence, punching TVs, getting into it with his teammates and things like that, got into it with Boone and other situations you can imagine, pretty much a drunk dude coming in and running his mouth. And that was that. He got shut down, and he's another one. I mean, he's done. He's a free agent after the season. So, to me, this is it. His Yankee career is toast. But this raises a lot of questions for me. Like, I'm sure everyone out there has dealt with someone. Someone who has dealt with the disease of alcoholism. My father has alcohol. Like, it's actually pretty rapid in my own family. But it's how long has this been going on for? Is there other situations that have happened? you know, like it raises a lot. And also, if it did happen before, why was he not DFA'd immediately? Like, why wasn't this addressed like that? And it makes a lot, and even further, it can keep going. Something internally is up with the Yankees. Something in leadership, in the culture, in the locker room, whatever's going on, it just seems like there's, I don't even know. You got Herman, you got the Rizzo thing, you know. What the hell is this? Josh Donaldson in general, like, it's alarming. It is.
So I have a quick question. You said that happened on Tuesday. On Monday, why didn't he start?
So that'll tie in is that on whatever before we'll get to Monday, and so Herman reported I was at the game Monday.
Yeah, me too.
Right,
oh,
so
I was, yeah.
Okay, so the thing we're told is Johnny Brito gets called up. He's taking Ron Marinaccio's spot, and on the roster, Domingo Herman has armpit. He had pain in his armpit, which I've never heard of in my life. But whatever. Let's just say what it is, right? He's a pitcher. If he has pain in his armpit and his right arm, obviously something's up.
Okay.
He was tested on 5 o'clock by Dr. Ahmad at 5 o'clock on Monday. The game is at 7 o'clock. Why was he not seen earlier? Then it comes out that he reported this pain on Friday.
So the next question is, what happened between 5 o'clock and the, I think, 4th inning when he came in and then pitched 5 innings?
I don't know, Lisa. I would love to know, because the explanation, like, I full disclosure, I listen to the post game on the radio when I drive home from games a lot, right? And as much as it makes me want to just turn the car off the RFK bridge when I'm listening to Boone, like, I try not to. And it's become comedic for me at this point. This is one where I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to hear this bullshit. And we got it. We got the whole, armpit thing, and seeing at 5 o'clock, and it just opened. There's so many holes in the story.
Here's what I think probably happened. I think he came to the clubhouse under the influence, and they were like, he can't pitch. Let's give him an IV drip. Let's try to sober him up. And then they needed somebody to come in, and they were like, he's sober now. He can pitch. And he did a pretty good job. But my thing is,
he was lights out Monday when he came in.
He was great. He was great on Monday.
Yeah.
My thing is, once again, I'm a social worker. When you drink alcohol to the level of abuse, there is an underlying reason for it. There's either some kind of trauma in your life, or something else that you're coping with by using a substance, whether it's alcohol or drugs or whatever. I think that's very common knowledge. You don't have to be a social worker to know that, right? So for a lot of people, like a lot of war veterans, it's PTSD that they're dealing with, and that's why they go to alcohol or substances. For other folks, it's a way to not feel pain from if there may be domestic violence or intimate partner violence, things like that. Or it may be for people who are depressed. They don't want to feel the pain that they feel from depression, so they drink or they use a substance. I don't know what's going on in this man's life, but once again, they need a freaking therapist on staff to figure these things out earlier on, because there is no way that this man just became an alcoholic. That's not how it works. Alcoholism is something that, like, it grows over time. You can see it. Usually there are interventions along the way, and it usually takes a very serious incident for the person to stop, or at least stop for a while before they perhaps may relapse. So this cannot be the first time Domingo Herman showed up drunk. Also, there's a precedent with particularly Yankees pitchers and substance abuse. CC Sabathia had it. Remember when he left the playoffs to go take care of himself? David Wells was known for it. David Cone was known for being a big drinker. Like, so many players. Darryl Strawberry, he wasn't. Not Darryl Strawberry. Not good.
Yeah,
Like there
Yeah,
were a
but
lot of
those,
people.
yeah. Well, I was well a couple of things with that part though. Strawberry and Gooden really did their thing before they got to the Yankees. That was during their Mets.
Yes. No, I understand that, but I'm saying like, all right, but they were.
That was George giving them a second chance. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I understand that they were before the Yankees, but what I'm saying is there's a precedence. There's a precedence in baseball, and it might be that they cannot cope with the pressure of being a major league pitcher. You and I have talked about this. Being an elite athlete that gets to be a professional in the sport, you know, other folks are like, oh, I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that. Do you know how hard that life is? Like, forget, even if you're not like a famous pro athlete, you have like, that's your life. That's your life. That's why a lot of pro athletes, they either marry their college or high school sweetheart, or they don't get married until they're done, or they never get married at all, because their whole life is from the minute they wake up to the moment they go to sleep. It's all about that sport. And if you can't handle that, don't be in their life, because that's their job. It's their job to take care of their bodies, to play their sport, to do the conditioning, to eat the way they have to eat, to sleep the way they have to sleep. And if they do it properly, it's a freaking rigorous schedule. That's got to get to you. Absolutely. Year in and year out, that's got to get to you and play on you. And if you do not have a strong support system, either with family, good friends, or your team, like the training and conditioning and hopefully the therapy people on your team, you are going to fall into some kind of negative habit, whether that's sex, drugs, alcohol, a combination of those things, being reclusive. Like, you're going to fall into some kind of hole if you don't have some kind of support in your life. So Domingo Germán, whatever happened to him happened a long time ago, and they didn't address it until it was obvious, and they couldn't do anything about it because probably some of the reporters saw him stumbling around fighting with people. That's probably what happened.
Probably. It also raises a question for me when he threw his perfect game and they celebrated afterwards. I wonder how that went.
Exactly.
So, listen, as far as the person goes, listen, I hope Domingo Germán figures this shit out, wherever he ends up being, for his own personal life and stuff like that.
Yep.
But regarding Yankees, I'm not blaming the Yankees. Like, don't take it the wrong way. I'm not blaming the Yankees for him being an alcoholic or some shit like that, because that's just dumb. But they need to get literally their clubhouse in order. There's clearly something wrong there. You know, there isn't, and I'm not in Judge. Some people may run to Judge because he's the captain. That I'm also not expecting him to literally, you know, stop alcoholism and shit like that. That's just insanity. So.
No, you need professional people to help him with this.
Yeah, like the overall culture in the Yankees locker room and within the organization needs to get under control. It does, because there's clearly something wrong. Something is broken. So
I agree.
All right. Well, let's talk about some baseball, some actual games here.
Oh, hey, is that what we do here?
Look at that. I mean, on occasion we will. But no, listen, we're 43 and a half minutes into this, and we actually even haven't done the recap yet. So a little bit of a change of pace. But Yankees did play some games this week. They welcomed in the Rays and got smacked around 5-1 on the first game, the game that we were referring to. Johnny Brito took the loss, pushing his record to 4-5. He only went 4 innings, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, no walks, so that's good for Brito at least. 4 Ks. Jake Bauers was 1 for 3 with his 9th home run of the season. But Yankees offense 3 for 29. Not going to get it done.
Nope.
At all.
Nope.
And Germán came in and pitched the last 5 innings and was absolutely lights out. This was the game we were referring to with the shenanigans before the game. Could say during the game. I mean, this was a total shit show of a night. And I will be completely honest. I was like just not in the mood to speak about anything after this game. I was just like so annoyed about everything. I'm just like, I mean, are they done? Is this it? Are they just throwing in the towel? Because it was pathetic. It was a truly pathetic performance to watch. And in all fairness, in every sport, when teams aren't scoring and the offense isn't working, teams look lifeless and look like they're not trying. That's whether it's true or not, right? Football team, no one's scoring. It looks like they're not trying. They won't give the defense credit there and stuff like that. But with the Yankees, we've seen pitchers come in 7 ERAs, 8 ERAs, and totally shut them down like this. So, which is why they don't get the benefit of them. You have anything on this game? Because that's pretty much where I'm at with it.
The only thing I have is that Tyler Glasnow was the pitcher, and Cillian Murphy, the actor, admitted that he looks just like him. Which I just want to go on the record. I've said this last year.
He does. He looks exactly like him.
He does.
I mean, listen, nothing against Glasnow. Really good pitcher and stuff like that, but
yeah,
but
we can hit him.
Yeah,
and we didn't.
Just didn't. So it was like staring into the sun. That's what like watching this game was. So that takes us to Tuesday night, which things didn't get much better because the Yankees went ahead and lost this one 5-2. Yankees did rally late in the game. They did get the time run to the plate later in the game, but to no avail. Carlos Rodon took his 4th loss of the season. His record was 1-4 at this point. Only lasted 4 innings, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 4 walks, 5 Ks. Gleyber Torres was 1-4 with an RBI and a run scored, and DJ was 1-4 with an RBI as well. But he got smacked around again, and this was on trade deadline day, which they have the trade deadline, and then an hour later they go out and put out this performance. And then there's a part of me that was like, is this a reflection on that? But then it was like, wait a second. This is what's been happening with them anyway. So nothing. Maybe they came out mad or something like that, and I would see some life into them. But no, that actually held off for at least another day. But Yankees went ahead and avoided the sweep. That's kind of what I was asking for going into the last game by a final of 7-2. Garrett Cole, though, had his 10th win of the season. He is firmly, in the race for the AL Cy Young. 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. Stanton, 2-for-4 with his 15th home run of the season, 4 RBIs. Big night for him. Anthony Volpe was 3-for-4, 14th home run of the season, 2 RBIs. Huge night for him as well. And Gleyber Torres was 3-for-4 with 2 runs scored and his 16th double of the season. So this was like, all right, we showed some pride. Not going to let the Rays come in here and sweep us. Bar shouldn't be that low, but that's where it was at. But it was good to see them just wake up.
Yeah, well, I do have a little bit of a problem with that because I feel like they keep relying on 2 people. Garrett Cole, Aaron Judge. And they have a 9-0 record in games that Garrett Cole pitches after a Yankees loss.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be the case.
Well, he's also their stopper, which
of course.
I can make the case.
Listen, I'm not taking anything away from him. He is a brilliant pitcher, and like you said, he's good. If he doesn't get the Cy Young, I don't know how that happens. But you just shouldn't rely on one pitcher alone. You have to be consistent with all of hitting with all of your pitchers as much as you possibly can. Of course, you're going to have off days where 1 or 2 players don't hit, but when the whole team doesn't hit, the amount of times that the whole team doesn't hit, it's crazy. I mean, and he's even been the beneficiary of them not hitting because he'll have a brilliant game, and then as soon as he comes out of the game, they choke. Yep. And they trip on themselves. This game, they happened to not do that. So I appreciate him very much, but they can't just rely on him and Aaron Judge to carry games for them.
You're right. I mean, that's clearly their 2 best players. I mean, some will throw Gleyber Torres in that conversation as well, but
what's going on back there?
It's a speaker.
It's losing battery?
I hope so. That's why I was looking around like, what the hell is beeping like that? Yeah, so, but yeah, well, that's the part of what we talked about. There's a lot of holes on this team that need to be taken care of, and it's going to be the offseason. It's going to be a really fascinating offseason, put it that way.
I hope it is.
And further, if they don't make the playoffs, I mean, I'm going to be truly fascinated about to see what happens, if there's any accountability anywhere. And I don't want to hear, injuries, this, that. It was just an off year. No. They're about a 500 team over the last 200 games. this is what we've seen. That's very mediocre. That's like the definition of mediocre, is being 500. So, but the Yanks did go ahead and welcome in another rival, not a division rival, but a very familiar foe with the Houston Astros, but did take the series opener by a final of 4-3. Clark Schmidt did take this ball in this game and got a no decision. He's also been really good for the Yankees. We talked about it on this show plenty of times. Back into the rotation guy, but 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, and 4 Ks. So nothing that's gonna like light up the scoreboard or anything like that. But he's doing his job. I mean, that's what he's doing. Michael King came in to get the window, pushing his record to 3-4. An inning and 2/3, a hit, 2 Ks. Clay Holmes locked up his 15th save of the season. Giancarlo Stanton was 1-for-4 with his 2-run homer, 16th for the year. Gleyber Torres 2-for-3 with a walk, and Billy McKinney 1-for-4 with his 6th home run of the season. I've said it before. I really like McKinney. McKinney plays hard. He probably shouldn't be your everyday left fielder, and he's not. He's in a platoon situation, but kid plays hard and decent left-handed bat. So good to see him there. Should he be the 5th hitter? No, but
yeah. And the only stat I have is that with Stanton's home run in the bottom of the 1st, he had 9 home runs and 21 RBIs in his last 20 games up to that point.
No, the power has been there. The power is definitely there. Say what you will with him, and I understand the gripes. There's no more like defending or anything like that with Stan, because he's clearly not the player that he once was, or the one that we thought we were getting. Mainly to do with his legs, and I'm just puzzled by that as well. But again, the power has been there, so I'll give him that. Yanks went to sleep though. They went right back to sleep on Friday night though, by a final of 7-3. Houston went ahead and smacked them around. Might be one of the, if not for the Rizzo and Herman stuff that we talked about earlier, Luis Severino would be front and center, probably their biggest problem. Because at least from a player perspective, single player, because their offense is the biggest problem. But Luis Severino took the loss, pushing his record to 2-6. 4 innings, 5 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 Ks. Jake Bauers was 2-for-4 with his 10th home run of the season. Stanton 1-for-3 with his 17th home run of the year. IKF 6th home run of the season. DJ 2-for-4 with a double. And as you can see, Yankees had 3 runs scored and 3 home runs. So 3 solo shots and not that big of a deal. Luis Severino, I don't know how you give him the ball his next turn in a rotation. I don't know how you do that. And this was also a night where Judge was sat as well. And I didn't actually put it together until later. The last 2 times Judge was sat is Severino starts. Are you truly just saying, hey, Severino started, we're fucked anyway, so we might as well get Judge some rest? I hope not. I would sure hope not. Because if that's how you feel about your starter, and you're in a race to a pennant race, stop.
And you keep using him.
Yes, go get Randy Vasquez. Go ahead, call him back up, give him a shot. He actually was not horrible the times he's been up here. Severino has no clue what's going on.
No,
absolutely deer in the headlights look. Nothing. He has nothing. Still throws hard. I'll give him that. Slider's flat as shit. But it's just this I think is a mental thing. He needs his confidence back.
Yeah,
he's been shaken. So if you need to give him a nudge and be like, hey, listen, I think your shoulder's a little cranky. Something like that.
I think you have an armpit injury.
Yeah, maybe you got an armpit injury or something like that. We'll call it that. Put him on a 10-day IL, let him try to work it out on the side. I'm sorry, you can't. Lisa, I don't even know if you have your probables right now, like if they posted them all yet for the White Sox. But if Severino's name is in that part.
It's not in there, but there is one that's a TBD. So I wonder if that's supposed to be his slot, but they're trying to see what they're going to do.
Well, let's see. Hold on. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Is it Wednesday's game that's TBD? I didn't look at it.
Yep, it's Wednesday.
Yep, it's his turn in rotation. Randy Vasquez, baby. Or Brito. It also could be Brito. Not saying that. No, I'm not advocating for that.
Yeah, I'm not advocating for that.
I think they also got to see what happens with Rodon because I mean, if he's going to the IL, then you might need both of them.
So I do have one quick fact, and it's about Giancarlo Stanton again. After his home run in the bottom of the eighth, it was 116.7 miles per hour off the bat.
Oh, he crushed it.
That was his fourth home run of the season with an exit velo of 116 or more, and that ties him with Shohei Ohtani for the most in the major leagues.
It's Bucky Dent bobblehead night.
Effing Bucky Dent. Bucky effing Dent.
Bucky effing Dent, as he's referred to in around Boston.
In Boston.
That was one of the highlights of my night at the game Friday. The other, Lisa, was I did try the Baby Ruth shake.
Oh, I've had it, so let me hear it.
No, I liked it a lot.
That's my favorite.
I
That's
dug
my
it.
favorite shake.
Yeah, I dug it. I was into it.
Yep.
So
that is my favorite. I think that's the first one I had.
And I also found out that they have the Reggie bar back.
Do they?
They do.
Wow.
I was gonna get it today, but I'm gonna save it for my next game.
Does he get residuals from that?
I have no idea. I didn't even know where the hell it came from. I just went to get Angie a Bud Light seltzer, and I'm on the line, and I look around by the candy on one of the beer lines. I'm like, fucking Reggie bar. And then I went up to him like, holy shit, they brought it back. I've never had one. I read the description. The description sounds great.
What is it?
It sounds like a Baby Ruth, essentially.
If it's a Baby Ruth, but it's called a Reggie bar, then it's delicious.
Hey, listen, that's fine. I've always wanted to try one. I've always been fascinated that a Yankee had their own candy bar like that. So,
I mean, two Yankees because the Baby Ruth is named.
Yes, but I'm just saying, like the Reggie bar, like that has Reggie's picture on it. That was a giveaway at the stadium in the 70s.
Yes,
that's what I'm talking about. So, well, we got burgers and stuff named after players now.
This is true. We do have a burger. You and I were the number 1 and 2 that day.
Yes, that was great. There was some writer from, I think it was like SB Nation or something like that. It was talking shit about it. Like, fuck off.
Talking shit about that burger? That burger was so delicious.
Yeah, he was just trying to give this like snobby review of it, and I was reading this, and I'm like, "You're an idiot."
Bye. Goodbye.
Bye. All right, so that takes us to yesterday afternoon, where the Yankees finally beat Justin Verlander and the Astros.
And
3-1.
And
the return of Nestor Cortez.
My favorite pitcher.
Who took a no decision because you had to figure he was on a pitch count. So, but in his only 4 innings,
he
one
killed
hit,
it.
one earned run. Unfortunately, a solo shot to that little asshole Altuve. A walk and 8 strikeouts over 4 innings. So pretty impressive. Looked a little bit more like vintage Nestor. Ian Hamilton came in to get the win, his second win of the season. Clay Holmes locked down his 16th save of the season. Jake Bauers, again, 2 for 4, 11th home run of the year, 2 RBIs. Gleyber Torres, 2 for 3 with his 17th homer of the year and a walk. And Giancarlo Stanton had 2 hits on the day, 2 for 3 and a walk. And apparently a interesting attempt at scoring and getting thrown out at the plate, which I did see the replays of it. And
so weird.
And Aaron Boone actually slightly said something along the lines of, you would like to see more than that. And I was like, holy shit.
Wow, he said something about one of his players that
was not. Are you holding somebody accountable just a little bit?
Wow.
But if it's announced tomorrow that Stanton's on the IL, then
not surprised at all. Not surprised at all.
No, there's
So I have to be fair. This kills me to say it, but when Altuve hit his freaking home run, it was his 200th of his career.
I refrained. I went to 3 of the 4 games against the Astros. I refrained from it. Thursday night I couldn't because I was actually with my company, and it was our summer event outing. And the They were Lisa. They were serving beer in these cups. I may have had like 5 or 6.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
It was going down pretty easily.
Wow.
Well, we had a thing where we had the ticket, and it was like Jim Beam suite tickets, full access, all the food, except for the LaBelle steak, all of that. But the fact that they were putting beer in these cups is insane. And it was from the gates open. I'm like, this is dangerous. But I still held my tongue. I didn't say it. I wanted to say it so bad. And then Friday night, there was nothing to say.
You had to let loose.
Yeah. And I don't know. There was a lot of kids today, so that's why I'm kind of disappointed in myself. But Yankees earlier today, though, did drop the series finale by a final of 9-7.
This game was tough to watch, man.
Yeah.
It was like high, low, high, low, high, low.
Yeah, Carlos Rodon took the ball, no decision because he only went 2 2/3. Left the game with left hamstring tightness. He's due for an MRI tomorrow, so we'll see what happens there. He's another one that are you going to be shocked if he ends up in the IL, even though he says no? No. 3 hits, 5 earned runs, a 2-run homer and a 3-run homer. 2 walks, 5 Ks. Gleyber Torres 3 for 4 with his 18th home run of the season, 2 RBIs, 2 walks, 3-run score. DJ 2 for 4 with a walk and a run score and a double. Harrison Bader 3 for 5, 2 RBIs and a run scored. Yankees offense though, this is the big take. This is the story of the game. 15 runners left on base. Lisa, they walked 10 batters. 10.
11.
Was it 11?
Because Volpe got hit by a pitch.
Yes. And they had 9 hits. They had over 20 base runners. They could, honestly, though, they couldn't get the big hit. They
John Sterling said it perfectly. No, I'm sorry. Susan Waldman said it. The Astros are trying to lose this game.
No, the Astros were dying so they were trying their best to lose this game. Lisa, I don't recall the last time I saw a game where every reliever that came out of that bullpen could not throw strikes for shit.
Everybody, first pitch, second pitch, third pitch, was a ball. Everybody.
Yeah.
Literally until the 9th inning, whoever pitched for them in the 9th threw a strike at his first pitch, and that was it. And then after that, he threw 2 balls. So I don't know what the hell happened, but they left bases loaded. I think definitely twice, maybe 3 times in that game.
They had all their chances. If they got 1 or 2 big hits, they win this game easily. There was just no hits. There was just walk after walk after walk, which is fine. I'm all about on-base percentage, but at some point, the big hit has to come.
Yes.
And it just didn't. Stan had a chance to win the game, 2 runners on, 4 out to center field, to end it. Obviously not the case. Anthony Volpe came up with the bases loaded, swings at the first pitch. How do you do that when they walked 10 hitters before that? Lisa, you know when someone swings at the first pitch, I can't handle it.
I know.
Especially when the pitcher obviously has no idea where the strike zone is.
Yeah.
You're bailing them out. So when you get a hit, it looks great, but when you don't, boy, that's
I know Dusty Baker was probably losing his mind.
I'm sure he's just listen, just make them earn it. Please make them earn it. And when they were down early, I'm like, it did cross my mind on this. I'm like, here we go again. We're going to find out if the Yankees are back. Are they actually back or starting to get up off the mat again? I'm not going to say this was a total disaster there because it wasn't. And in this homestand, they've had better at-bats.
Yes.
All right, we'll just look at that. I'm not going Aaron Boone on everyone. Please don't take it like that. I'm not going there. But a lot of the hitters are starting to work the count. I do wonder if this is maybe starting Sean Casey's influence starting to show through a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah. But let's just see. Let's just see if it starts to build. So that's something. A split with the Astros, not the worst thing. 3 out of 4 from the Astros.
Oh, that would have been great. But
I would have been here man, I'm like John Wick, and it's just
you
keep asking if I'm back.
John Wick.
come on, they were already talking about it. So somehow. Not gonna spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen John Wick.
I know, I'm like, no spoilers for John
No
Wick.
spoilers. All right, but let's get to our awards of the week, as we typically do. Top of the heap, hitter of the week. This should be interesting. Lisa, I know you probably revealed it, but go ahead.
I revealed mine.
Because I also have a runner-up. Or I have not announced it, but go ahead. You can officially announce.
Oh, Gleyber Torres. Yeah.
Okay.
He had an OPS of 1.341 for the week. His average was a 462, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, 7 runs, 12 hits, 4 walks, 1 stolen base. His on-base percentage was .533 and his slugging was .808. Who did you pick as your runner-up, I guess?
Runner-up. It's Gleyber Torres, obviously. If you give it to anyone else.
I don't know what games you were watching.
I will say an honorable mention to Jake Bauers.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
An honorable mention to Jake Bauers. No,
yeah.
I'm not going to be insane and actually give him this, but no, the guy has shown. I don't think he should be leading off, but I will say that he has shown. He's doing what they're asking him to do. Put it that way. He's going to see a lot of time at first base. That's pretty much what you're going to see with Rizzo out. It's going to be a lot of Jake Bauers. There'll be some DJ LeMahieu from time to time. Mm-hmm. It's mostly going to be Bauers. So.
Don't you think that if he gets a hit, they should play the 24 countdown?
I can promise you right now, by the next homestand, which they're going on, they have 3 series that. Yeah. By the next homestand, there will be a graphic on the board.
There has to be.
Something like that. Either his name will be in the font of 24, like the digital numbers. Something like that will come out.
Unfortunately, they can't put "Damn It, Chloe" up, but I say that after he gets a hit.
Yes, and
that is my favorite thing to do after he gets a hit.
As well, you should.
As well, I should. That was my favorite show of all time.
That and Seinfeld are my tied for favorite. They're totally different shows, though.
They are very different shows.
I'm just saying, I like a wide variety of like movies and things like that. So TV shows are no different. All right, so that brings us to the King of the Hill pitcher of the week. I can tell you right now, it's not Carlos Rodon.
Oh yeah, he wasn't in my top 10.
It's not Domingo Germán.
Nope.
Gerrit Cole. I mean, it's kind of.
You picked Gerrit Cole, you said?
Yeah, I'm going with Gerrit Cole. I mean, he stopped the lunacy for at least one night. Shut down the Rays. I mean, he's been great. He is truly living up to the billing. I mean, I feel like he has mostly as a Yankee, honestly, but like this season, it's another level right now. It really is. So my guys.
We talked about this. We both think that the pitch clock was something that happened in his favor.
Yeah, because I think it takes out some of the potential overthinking of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So plus, I mean, he's had it. I mean, I know he's dealt with the spider tax shit and everything like that, but I don't think that's what makes a pitcher. I'm sorry, I have a tough time finding that. And the guy is such a cerebral, like player, from what you hear, that he was going to figure it out, and it appears like he definitely has. Everyone remembers that one really bad game in Boston in the wild card game, and they think that that's like defining his career as a Yankee. No, that's lazy. Look at the big picture. Gerrit Cole. Who do you got this week?
I actually picked Clay Holmes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's been very consistent as our closer. So in this week, he pitched 3 innings. He had 3 hits, 0 runs, 0 walks, 3 strikeouts. His whip was a 1.00, and the average against him was a 250. And I would be remiss if I didn't give a special shout out to my boy Nestor Cortez, because he had 8 strikeouts in 4 innings on 64 pitches. And I know I missed him and his cleats.
Listen, they also got him back at the perfect time.
Yes, they did.
The Severino fiasco and the Sermon situation going on here.
And now Carlos Rodon.
And now possibly Rodon. I mean, Jesus. Just to think, this rotation is what we looked at. It'll be going into the season. He's going to be dominant. And Cole has been the only one who's lived up to it. We'll see. Yep. Nestor's still got like about roughly 2 months hopefully he finishes the season healthy. He's good to go, and he's back to being nasty Nestor that we've all become accustomed to.
Mhm.
All right, so that pretty much takes us to our Yankees White Sox preview as the Yankees begin a road trip. They'll be dropping in Chicago and then Miami and Atlanta. The Atlanta series will be tough, but that's next week. What do we got this week? What's the pitching probables outside of TBD on Wednesday?
Yes, so I have 2.5 out of 3 of them, so we're good. So for tomorrow, they'll be playing against Dylan Cease. I hope I'm saying his last name right.
Yeah.
He's a right-hand pitcher, 4-5 record, 4.61 ERA, and 144 strikeouts. And he's going up against our ace and Ed's King of the Hill, Garrett Cole. Right-hand pitcher, 10-2 record, 2.64 ERA, and 157 strikeouts on the season. On Tuesday, I love this guy's name. I kept saying it over and over when I saw it. They'll be playing against Tuki Toussaint. That is just such a cool name. I'm sorry. And he's a right-hand pitcher with a 1-4 record, 3.92 ERA, and 38 strikeouts. He'll be going up against Clark Schmidt, also a righty, 7-6 record, 4.35 ERA, and 103 strikeouts on the season. And then on Wednesday, we only know who the White Sox are pitching because he will be playing the ever formidable TBD, but it's Mike Clevenger, right-hand pitcher, 4-5 record, 3.72 ERA, and 58 strikeouts on the season. We'll see who's supposed to pitch that night. Ed and I suspected that was probably Luis Severino's turn, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think Brito gets the start, or they call up Vasquez. I mean, they have a day off Thursday, so do we really see a bullpen game?
And Nestor, it would be too soon, I guess?
Nestor, they would probably be saving for Friday.
Yeah, because it would only be 4 days.
Yeah, Nestor will be Friday. He'll open Friday night against Miami. So
against Miami, yeah.
Which I'm sure he'll be jacked up about anyway.
So, actually, that would be nice to see him pitch there. Yeah. His sneakers, his cleats there would be amazing. I thought about this, and I'm still thinking about it, but I might just take a spontaneous flight down. I've never seen a game in Marlins game, and you told me about the Cuban place.
Yes, Marlins Park is cool.
And I have a friend who I know a few people who live in Miami, and I love Miami, but I'm also off that whole next week. So I can.
So you're going to fly out Saturday morning?
I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. I might. I thought about it. I'm like, do I want to do this? Do I want to be spontaneous and go to Miami? I might.
Okay. Saturday is that would be an interesting way to start it because we have the Hip Hop 50 concert at the stadium Friday night.
I'm tired, but what time are they playing? If they're playing,
well, that's what I was looking up. I was looking up the start time. I feel like it's a late afternoon game on Saturday in Miami. Let me see.
I'm looking.
4:10. You can do that. It's a 2-hour flight.
No, I know it's a 3-hour flight. It's Miami. It's the end of Florida.
Oh, sorry, I'm thinking Tampa. Sorry. Hold on. Is it really another hour?
No. I know. I mean, it's a significantly longer drive, but that's driving.
Yeah, no, it's got to be just over 2 hours. Still.
Anyway, I'll see because, like I said, I'm off, so I can. I might want to do that though because I've never been to a game there, and I freaking love Miami so much.
Marlins Park, legit.
So my friend from college, my best friend from college, who just moved down to Miami, I might be coming to visit.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll talk more about this on Friday.
We'll see.
Ironically, at the stadium.
That's right. Yeah. So Ed and I and a couple other people are going to see the Hip Hop 50th anniversary concert at Yankee Stadium on Friday night. I'm very excited about this concert.
I'm super excited. I'm actually really curious to see the merchandise that's available. Like, I'm hoping there's a really cool shirt marking the event. I'm hoping they would do like a Yankee fitted with like the patch on some sort of a patch on the side or something. That I would be all about that. I still have my like Jay-Z Eminem t-shirt. That was phenomenal. It was so simple but phenomenal.
Do you think so? There's only one Wu-Tang Clan member on the list. Do you think we'll see more? I don't see how we can't. One of them.
Ghostface is supposed to be there, so that means Raekwon's probably going to be there.
But what about Meth? Like, he's got a song that they play at every game.
No, I know that, but.
By the way,
well, hold on a second though. Well, no, if Ghost is going to be there anyway, because they're doing shows, but I know because me and TJ are seeing them next month actually in Barclays Center.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe he might have a scheduling conflict with his show that he does because that was why he missed a lot of his last tour with them. But of course, he showed up for the New Jersey show, even though it's called the New York State of Mind tour. Which is why they came back around and now they're in Barclays.
But I feel like, come on, the Bronx is where hip hop was created.
It might be anyone.
He's a Yankee fan, and by the way, I just learned that he's a Jets season ticket holder.
Is he really?
Yeah, my brother. He said when he watched the Wu-Tang documentary, Method Man was talking about that.
I don't remember that. And I've seen that documentary, but
or I don't know one of the things about the Wu-Tang Clan. He said
I could be completely. I could. I don't know. I think it's all bets are off. I think literally anyone could show up. I
think so too. I think we're going to be there very late, and I probably won't be able to go to Miami the next day because I'll be so tired.
Well, now it says on the ticket 6:00 start, and gates open at 4:30.
Yes, but like we said, like I was talking to you earlier, it might rain, and the last time we went to a concert where it rained, I only got to see an hour of that damn concert. Oh God.
Hopefully it just rains earlier in the day. Or actually, perfectly, I hope it rains after the concert.
We talked about this.
Through the night.
I hope the fields in Central Park get flooded.
Yes, let it be. Or I might just go throw this cup of water out my window and then I take it off. Who knows? All right. Well, that pretty much will do it for us this week. Thanks for joining us as always. We appreciate the support. If you joined us on the Facebook live stream, be sure to check out Pop Culture Pros and popculturepros.com and also the Empire 161 show. Get a lot of cool stuff. There's highlights and lineups and a bunch of stuff that gets dropped on there, so you can go ahead and check that out. If you're checking us out on YouTube, subscribe to Pop Culture Pros. Twitter, you can follow at Pop Culture Pros, or on X. Elon Musk, don't come after me. Yes, it's X. And then you can go ahead and follow us at Empire 161 Show. Instagram at the _Empire _161 _show. All right? I've got it down pat now. There's no more tongue twisters as it used to be. You can check us out there. And wherever you found your audio only podcast, you can subscribe to Pop Culture Pros and check out all the cool stuff that's on the network. Next week coming up, be on the lookout for Granny's Peach Tea if you're into comic book stuff and everything. We will be reviewing the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem animated film, along with the latest episodes of Harley Quinn and My Adventures with Superman. So check that out. And Lisa and I will be back next week, supposedly Sunday night, but who knows? Maybe live from Miami. We don't know. Like, it could be a split show. Who the hell knows? Tune in and find out. All right? We will see you next week. Let's go, Yankees. Peace.
Have a good night.